BlueCube CEO and founder Thomas Schiffer was introduced to the benefits of ice bathing after spending years trying to find a solution to stress and anxiety caused by a hectic lifestyle. He looked for a hassle-free, high-circulating solution but found nothing functional on the market. With an extensive background owning restaurants, Schiffer was intimately familiar with HVAC, freezers, and refrigeration components. After moving to Central Oregon, he partnered with co-founder David Haddad and Zach Parsley to launch BlueCube in Redmond. With its unique high flow rates, BlueCube offers both residential and commercial customers a cold plunge experience that is always cold and always clean. Here to educate us further on the BlueCube journey are Thomas and David. Welcome to the PubTalk stage. Come on up here, you two. All right, David, here you are. And Thomas, welcome. You guys, take it away.
And I have to stay on the stage?
No, I mean, I would stay close because the speakers.
I'll make sure not to fall off. Hello, everyone. I'm David Haddad. I'm the co-founder of BlueCube. This is Thomas Schiffer, founder, CEO. And we manufacture cold tubs, cold plunges in Redmond. We have about 13 employees right now and growing. Since early 2022, we have experienced 1.4 million in sales, so a lot of growth this past year. And our biggest issue right now is capacity. We simply can't build these fast enough. For those of you who are not familiar, think of a jacuzzi, but instead of hot water, it's cold water flying at you. And why anyone would want to do this? There's tremendous health benefits. So past 5 years, renaissance has happened from Wim Hof and other enthusiasts, and cold exposure is a health megatrend. It's the perfect complement for saunas, so that's been on the rise as well. And our product fits the high-end and commercial markets. Those are two customers that we're really satisfying. We set out to solve a major issue, which was there was no self-contained cold plunges. Either commercial clients would have to build in, hire contractors, permitting expenses, et cetera. Same with homeowners to build these in order to have robust temperature control and to handle the back-to-back plunging experience. We were the first company to really create a robust product that allows for that type of experience on the commercial side. And we got initial customers who were crazy outliers, having 100 people per day plunge in their units. And that MVP launched with the customer feedback, allowed us to hone in on a feature set that we think is very unique and adding a differentiated value prop in the market. In 2022, we landed major influencers such as Joe Rogan, who had our bath. He's mentioned it several times on his podcast. And that really solidified our position as the premier brand. We also have connections with Dr. Andrew Huberman, who received a unit, among other celebrities that we think can help us spread our brand at a very low cost, very cost-effective marketing campaigns. To give you perspective, the sauna market is around a $4 billion industry right now. It took several decades to grow. It was very big in Europe, but America has since caught fire with saunas. Cryotherapy is around a $300 million industry. And so we predict that cold plunging, which is much more efficient than cryotherapy, about 20 times more efficient at delivering cold dose, is going to be on par with saunas in the next several years, just given the benefits and how well it pairs with hot tubs, how well it pairs with saunas. We've also spoken with several high-end builders who predict that every high-end home is going to have pool, sauna, a spa, and a cold plunge. That's going to be the package for the high-end residential. That's pretty much as far as where we've gone on our journey. Right now, we're interested in investment capital to increase our throughputs. We simply cannot build these fast enough. We have about 45 in queue right now, and our gross margin is around 20%. We believe with increasing capacity, getting heavy machinery such as CNC and the overhead sander, we can increase our margins to around 50% on the gross margin side, which would help feed our business and continue to grow and scale. I'm going to hand it off to Thomas now to go over some of the founding story and how he came up with this.
Check. So it's 12 degrees outside right now in Central Oregon, and we're here to talk about ice baths. So know your audience. Maybe we'll start selling jacuzzis too. 52 years old. Before it was cool to be an entrepreneur, I really was. I grew up in the Bronx, learned how to make pizza, moved to LA, opened my first pizzeria at age 24. My brother still owns it. Got roped up into Central Oregon through marriage and subsequently a divorce because I was a workaholic. Got lucky enough to bag about 50 acres in Tumalo, so not hating that outcome. And was fortunate enough to find a younger version of myself in David, who literally lives on site, has been
Fun stuff.
He has been there 24/7 for the last 18 months. We're crushing it. I don't know, what to say in 2 minutes to impress you guys. We're in your backyard, and we're in the laps of some of the coolest people on the planet in an industry that, if you want to be intelligent, we don't know, what sales will be. We don't know what the market will be. There's assumptions. But right now is the most exciting time for me because we have a pure product. It's scalable. You can introduce new things. A lot of it is actually skin tech. The exciting things about tracking, tracing the data of the behavior, of the science. To David's point, a renaissance of the health benefits. But our job is just to make a kick-ass ice bath. A durable one, a serviceable one. We weren't first in the market. I literally got prompted into this. I thought I was going to retire, guys. So I wanted to buy a competitor's. I got sticker shock. And then I started to unpack it and realized that the foibles of my youth, working in cabinet shops, all these things, I really started to see that there was no market segmentation. There was no discernment. You couldn't tell the difference between a $7,000 piece of poop and a $30,000 piece of poop. It just hasn't happened yet. We are creating terminology that is, we're like Maytag in the 50s. Direct cold hydrodosing, trademarked. Like it's insane. So it's a fun ride. We encourage you guys truly, even in spite of things, we have a barrel sauna. Come out, do some contrast therapy, see the product while it's still in its purest state, because it's gonna scale. Hopefully we'll, hold on to that essence, what captured David, what captured me, what will hopefully capture you guys, and we'll solve the other problems. It's gonna happen. There's just too much momentum behind it. So thank you guys for all coming out.
Let's do some Q&A. I like that you're like, I'm 52 years old.
Sorry.
I've had a life. Yeah, round of applause. This is fun.
Thank you, guys.
I appreciate. I thought you were going to be like, and I took a tub, and now I feel 47. That's what I thought you were going to say. Talk a little bit about some of these special features that you're talking about, because I am familiar with the cold plunging, but why is it so easy, and what makes it appealing to businesses and also to people opening these units, putting these units in their homes?
Okay.
Don't fall off the stage.
No.
I do think we should have set one up right here.
It's okay.
Double
It's
the
like the
size.
perfect spot.
I'm only
Yeah.
a few beers in.
You're 52. You've got a lot of energy.
So the problem, really, the holy grail, is the ability of a machine to offset the introduction of body heat, let alone ambient, but body heat. To David's point, we got lucky. We got these guys that were having 100 people a day consecutively plunging.
Yeah.
So how does the machine stay cold? The other so-called competitors were just failing. You had to get more expensive. You had to get bigger horsepower. You had to get chilling motor. Fortunately, some of the other guys that were along our original site map were in the keg washing business. So we went through many iterations to figure out how to keep a machine cold in the face of plunging. Secondary gain was, or problem that became secondary gain, was as we got into larger chilling motors and recirc pumps borrowing heavily from the spa industry, we realized you could get also the stability of keeping something clean. So more flow rate meant more real-time response to the introduction of body heat, which meant the machine wasn't overworking or lagging. And it was also, we're talking 2,800 gallons an hour and a 120, 140 gallon tank 80 times an hour. Every drop is going through the chiller and through the filtration. It's the holy grail.
I imagine you guys are just like, oh, when you're working on these things, right? Yeah, you're just like blown away.
So that's where it gets fun, right?
Yeah.
So what's happening now is we're realizing a lot of people, their first experience, they don't want to be the superhero. They want to be able to just either raise the temp or now you can select the flow rate.
That's so cool. That's so cool. I have a question here.
On your sales strategy, what's the mix of like distribution, like hot tub dealers versus builders?
Yeah, so on the sales strategy, it's a great question. On the sales strategy, what's the kind of layout in terms of distribution with spa people or direct sales, or like what's that looking like for you guys?
So that's a hot button question, because their model, right, pre-pandemic, pre all the supply chain issues, was dealership, service, fix it, maintain it. So they're kind of dinosaurs, but they're effective. And we don't want to dismiss that segment of the market share, because they also, the ones that have remained, are truly book rich, client rich. They know the industry. They're flirting with us, but until we know our true throughputs, until we have production, we can only make about 20 units. We're literally in a barn in Redmond right now. So we can't fulfill a 100-unit order right now. I'd be terrified. I'd get invested, but I wouldn't be able to, I'd burn that relationship. Yeah. So to answer your question, we're kind of using the leverage of, hey, direct-to-consumer is more profitable, but we want to go down that path. And back to, we borrowed from the spa industry, everything, any pool and spa guy nationally, or we're selling internationally, they can go and fix it, service it, if it has fall over.
And so if I wanted to put one of these in my home, would I put this in the garage? Would I put it in the living room? Where would it go?
Wherever you want.
Okay, but it can't really go outside. That wouldn't make sense from a...
No, it could definitely go outside.
It can?
Yes.
Wow. What'd you say? In my chicken coop? I don't have a chicken coop, but you probably do. These guys do. It could go in a chicken coop. I mean, I feel like that would be tough on the cleaning filters, but how big is it?
We have different sizes, so we have a tub that's 5.5 feet long. That can fit somebody who's 6'5", no problem. We even make 6-foot tubs for some crazy athletes who wanted our bath, like 6'9" NBA stars.
Wow.
Or 6'8".
You can make like a petite little dunker for just like a tiny person. How did you two meet?
We met in Santa Monica. At the time, I was in another startup, and we were taking a walk, and Tommy was strolling around, kind of like frowning around, and
he was like, "I'm 49 years old."
And my co-founder was like, "Is everything okay, man? Like you look really sad." And he was going through the divorce at the time.
Oh.
So he's like, you know what? Everything's not okay. My wife's taking me for everything I got.
Oh no.
You know what? How are you guys? Like, what's going on? So we pitched him, and he comes from like a startup back. He's a serial entrepreneur himself, so that immediately formed a bond, and we just grew our relationship from talking business, talking different startups. He's had several exits, so that kind of cemented the bond.
And then he got you to move up here?
And then he kept bothering me. He's like, hey, I'm building this bath and flowing water. I'm like,
you're like, I'm in.
At the time, I'm doing, ice and horse
trough.
trough.
Yeah, right.
So I'm like, who the hell's gonna buy this, man? Like, no one's gonna do this. Like, I'm a MacGyver. Like, I don't get it. Flew up here, tried it, and I was like, yeah, I have not experienced this cold dose.
Cool.
This is gonna be the future.
Seems like it'd be huge in like physical therapy practices. Could it be mobile? I have a friend who has a mobile sauna, and they are booked all the way through the year, and to have something like this along with it would be very cool.
So the applications are endless, and we were really industrious in that because we're small, because we're kind of one-offing toes to nose, we were able to make a lot of different kind of SKUs. We have a modular system. The modular system can have, a component and configuration up to 60 feet away. and then whatever tub size you want. We're now realizing that could be able to drive 5 or 10 tubs back to gyms, spas, resorts. We also have the initial thing, which could be kind of simplified to what we're calling a plunge pack, which you can, at this point, convert any existing horse trough or jacuzzi into an ice bath.
Or chicken coop.
Or a chicken coop.
Yeah, or a chicken coop. Yes.
What's the average selling price of the unit?
What's the average selling price of the unit?
So the average ticket price right now seems to be hovering around $17,000.
17.
We just launched, yeah, it's high ticket price. Yeah, yes.
It's like a what?
Yeah, it's a car. But they pay for themselves, right? Our B2C, it's a pass-through, right? Low power, under 20 amps, maybe $4 a month in electricity, and back to, it's not just a trend. It's almost as ubiquitous. You need to be relevant in the gym and spa space. You have to offer this.
Yeah, I think that part is so interesting. I mean, like, in my mind, it would be booked solid
37.
immediately. 37 degrees.
Yes.
Yeah. But there's not chunks of ice floating around in it.
No ice.
So for us, it's kind of the faux pas, right? We're the no ice guys. To us, ice is a dirticle. It doesn't circulate, doesn't get filtered. It sits there from client to client to client. And the health departments are treating this like the, a 50-year-old industry with the pool and spa playbook. They hate ice. So.
Well, and to your point, like being able to customize this for people who are just learning, you have
Yep.
someone who maybe has some adrenal stuff going on, they're not going to go full 37 for 3 minutes or whatever. They're going to put their toes in and work their tolerance up and let this be a really therapeutic modality. So this is very cool. I hope you guys will come back and give us an update.
Sure. Thank you guys so much.
Enjoy that barn out in Redmond. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you, EDCO, too.
Thank you, guys.